Hi, my amazing planner friends. It's Jess from my Magical Planner, and it is time to set up my July monthly goals. Now, I do this in a MakseLife companion notebook, so I have that here as well as the notebook that you set up at the beginning of the year or whenever you start your goals that has your yearly goals in it, because I always reference back to that for putting together my monthly goals. I also have the MakseLife stencil here. I thought it might be fun to try that out this week because I haven't really used it much, as well as just the MakseLife mild liners. You can use whatever you want, but I tend to keep this pretty simple. Sometimes I include stickers, but I don't think I'm going to this month. So to give you an overview of what we're going to do, I'm going to look back at last month's goals and how we did on those goals. Then I'll take you through my reflections, which I've already done, and just kind of read you through what my reflections for the month are. I'm also got a little bit of brainstorming for the coming month that I'll take you through, and then we will set up this month's goals. All of that is going to be timestamped down below so that if you want to skip to a specific portion, you can. I will also timestamp out each of the different areas for my goals for the month. So if you need to reference back to anything, you can. This is mostly an inspirational video. I am not an expert on goal planning, but I know that sometimes seeing someone else's goals really helps me, and I'm hoping to do the same for you. Okay, so let's go back to June and look at our monthly goals. So here they are. They look wonderful, very pretty with their stickers. So there were a couple of things that maybe I could have done better this month. So for personal, my focus was self-confidence, and my goals were to work on my physical appearance and on my strengths. Now, I don't feel like I did very much in the physical appearance realm, and that is mostly because I had some ups and downs with medications, because I have quite a few medications that I take. I don't have a technical chronic illness like an autoimmune something, but I do have a lot of medical problems, including a lot of gastro problems, which I don't have an official diagnosis for, but as part of which I did lose half of my stomach and have to have my entire intestines rerouted. Because of that, it causes a lot of issues, including my ability to absorb certain things like iron and other things that kind of are your building blocks for your energy level. So because my energy has been rather poor this month because of some medication hiccups, it has been hard to focus on that. That being said, I did do quite a bit of work on the strengths, and I do have a better idea. I feel like I do have strengths at this point. Do I fully understand my strengths? No. Is that going to happen in a month? No. But I feel like I made some progress. So I'm going to give myself a check on strengths and strengths alone, because I had some worksheets I worked through. I do have an understanding that there are positives to myself, which I kind of struggle with. So I think that's a win. As far as fun and recreation, my focus was time with family, specifically in going out and doing an outing with my family. Now, this seems like a really simple task, but we are a family of autistic, ADHD, neurospiciness, which is fine. We are who we are, and we can't change that. But it does make going out to do things sometimes rather challenging, especially with certain individuals. Some of them need lots of advance notice to be okay with going and doing things. Some of them like to complain, and sometimes that has a negative effect on me. So that all being said, we didn't do a family trip because that was too intense, and did not work with my energy level. So we readjusted to doing a family activity. And so we all went to the movies. We saw Inside Out 2, and I feel like that's a win. So for the family trip, I wanted kid interest and planning. We did get some things the kids are really interested in doing, so I can pull those out at a later date to do things with them. And I was able to plan it and have it go off without a hitch. So I am going to give myself, I already put a check mark here. I gave myself credit for that. And I think that is great. We would like to do another something this month. The kids want to go swimming. So I'm going to figure that one out. For work and learning, my focus was purpose. So I don't have a real job. I have mom things and I have YouTube. And so a lot of times my work and learning is focused on YouTube stuff and how that is going and such. So I wanted to understand and make sure I was staying true to what I enjoy about YouTube. So I did some worksheets this month and did some brainstorming on different things to kind of suss out what I enjoy about YouTube. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that portion. Now, finding the positives of what I'm putting out there has been a little bit harder for me because I don't get a lot of feedback. And so it's hard to see if it's helping people, if it's of interest to people. I mean, I get enough views that I think it's helpful for people, but I don't get a ton of likes. I don't get a lot of comments. And that's not me fishing for those. It's just a statement of fact. So it's harder to evaluate that side. That being said, I still enjoy it no matter if people watch it or not. So I'm okay with that. And I had to figure out that I was okay with not having that feedback. So that's where I am as far as purpose goes. I love making videos that help people figure out how to do their own weeks, how to figure out their own goals or plan their own week, to decorate their planner. I love evaluating new products and comparing products and that kind of thing. So I'm going to make sure that I continue to do those things. As far as family and relationships, my major goal was friendships. And with this, the big thing was kind of evaluating my friendships. Where are they? Are there friendships I needed to invest more time and energy in? Are there friendships that maybe have run their course? And I think there was a couple of both. There are friendships that I've been able to nurture over the last month and bring to the forefront. And there's some other relationships that I've kind of let go a little bit of and stopped putting as much energy into them because I needed to nurture other things. It's not that I think those people are bad or I have any issue with them. It's simply that I feel closer to these other individuals. And so at this time, I'm investing in those individuals who lift me up and who I feel like I have a better connection with. So I think I did pretty good on this one. For health and wellness, feeling better. We did horrible here. So I think the reason I did really poorly on this is because I have too many things here and that there are too many stretch things. It's the exercise isn't a stretch thing. That's been me going and walking every day and trying to up my stamina and be able to walk further and further. Which has been a big thing because a year ago, at this very time, I was sitting on my couch with multiple IVs in my arm a day and could barely stay awake for 4 hours. So it's a vast improvement since then, but there's still a long road ahead and it's not going as fast as I would like it to. Part of that is me and part of that is just the nature of everything. And so I need to make sure I'm giving myself grace there. The other thing that happened is because of the stomach issues, my mental health goes down when those are bad. And then, because I'm in pain, that's the reality of it. I'm in pain. I don't feel good. I'm not getting enough of the minerals that I need. And so then everything else kind of starts to spiral. So we're going to making some adjustments as far as this goes. And I'm going to try and instead of focusing on 4 things, maybe we focus on one this month, one next month, etc. So I'm not going to give myself a check mark here, but I understand why these didn't go as well this month, and I'm not berating myself because of it. For spiritual and personal growth, because I've kind of stepped away from church, I technically am Mormon. I was raised Methodist, kind of. My parents didn't go to church, and so I stopped going to church with my grandmother when she died when I was 6, and then converted to Mormonism when I married my husband, who is Mormon. But I have stepped back essentially since COVID because of some different things going on. So I have a little bit of a disconnect with this area right now just because of that. And so I simply put learning here, and I did okay on learning. I just wanted to learn something new all the time, like once a week at least. And so I did do some TED Talks. I guess we can check that off. I did do some things with ADHD and learning more about that. I don't know that I did so much with spiritual or inspirational, though. I kind of shied away from those because of things involved in the church stuff, for lack of a better term. So that's kind of where this went, and I think I did okay. For finance, my goal was knowledge. So my husband takes care of all the finance stuff, and he has autism and ADHD, and so it's hard for him to let go of that control. And it's not a big issue for me. And so I've just kind of let him do the finances for the last 20 or so years because I'm not making an income. Although I guess technically with YouTube, I'm maybe making $20 to $30 a month now. So I can maybe take myself out to eat once a month. But my goal for this last month, because I had a friend who had a large medical thing come up, was to simply understand where everything was. And if something were to, God forbid, happen to my husband, how do I take care of it? And I think I did partial credit on that. Getting him to sit down and take me through everything hasn't happened, but I have a better knowledge of the overall picture. So I'm giving myself partial credit. We're going to continue to work on that. And for physical environment, I had yard. So the problem with this one is because I've been sick for several years and unable to do things in the yard, it has gotten away from me, especially with a husband who has ADHD and tends to maybe leave a trail, and kids who have ADHD who maybe leave a trail in my yard of things. It's not horrible, but at the same time, it's not great. So, and included in that, we had a house fire or garage fire where we had a lot of things got misplaced or put elsewhere while that was being taken care of, and various other things. So the outside was a much bigger project than I anticipated, especially if I'm only doing it once a week in an hour interval with my kids, because I can't do a lot of. So I can do some weeding, but the bending over continually tends to put strain on my abdominal, where I had 2 full laparotomies. And so the scar tissue there gets tender, and the bending over to weed also causes me to, because of the way my digestive system is, for things to kind of come up, shall we say. And so that, combined with the fact that I'm allergic to most things outside, makes it hard for me to want to do it on my own. So my kids have been very supportive and helpful in that regard. But it's a bigger project than once a week, an hour. So that is something that I think I'm going to carry over to this next month. All right. Now let's kind of go through my reflections and my brainstorming. So my reflections for the month were, so my biggest wins of the month, building and nurturing friendships, I think was a good win this month. Making a family outing was a big deal. I read and, well, I actually listened to several books, which has been really hard for me because I feel like I need to be doing something and I can't just sit down and read a book because there's so many things that need to be done. That's my kind of my anxiety talking. But with doing the weekly walks, I have been able to listen to it in 30-minute increments and be able to listen to several books. And it's been really nice to get back to a point where I can do that. The Saturday cleanups and the chores for the kids have been going really well. There were some hiccups. We had to do a lot of adjustments, but now I think they're running smoothly and hopefully will continue running smoothly throughout the summer. The yard is better. It is not perfect, but it is a lot better than it was prior to this month. We got some weeding done in the front. We had some parking space cleanup. We've done a bunch of other things. So as far as things that are currently working in my life, having a checklist daily is really important to me. The weekly planning really helps me prepare for the week. And the chore chart seems to really be helping. Things that are currently not working in my life, schedules. Since the kids are out for summer, it just feels like everything's kind of chaotic. My husband kind of sets his own schedule. He works from home, although now he has an office space, so he can go to that. But with all of that, we have no structure as far as time, and I feel like we really need it, or at least I do. So I have that with time management. Stress is, I'm just really stressed about things right now. It is getting better, which also plays into the stomach issues. And I haven't been the greatest on menu planning. I mean, with everybody kind of going this way, that way, I can't figure out how many people I should be planning to meal plan for. And it just has not been working very well. So what I learned this month, that I need structure. Without a schedule, I feel adrift and things tend not to get done because I just feel lost. Sleep is key for my mental health, and my kids are very capable with the right direction. What improvements or adjustments do I need to make going into the next month? I need to focus on sleep because one of the biggest obstacles this month was not having enough energy to do things, and improve my menu planning to improve my mental health and develop a schedule for me. What I'm most grateful for right now, friendships and people who just get me, my kids stepping into chores and not having a whole lot of complaints about that, just that they needed direction. YouTube as a creative outlet has felt really nice. And so I have these kids that I call my adopted kids. They're not actually adopted, they're friends of my kids. And several of them this month reached out to me to make connections. And that just made me feel really nice. Like, one of them is my son's ex-girlfriend, right? And there was no, he went through a hard time with the breakup, but he has no hard feelings for her. It was just the two of them together long term didn't work out. And that's okay. So I made sure it was okay with him, but I did have contact with her. I took her to the airport so she could go fly down and see her mom and things like that. We had lunch. It was kind of nice. And I've had two of his other friends have done similar things. I've it's been a little weird because I do think of them as like extended family because they've been here so much. And I don't want to be that creepy mom that's trying to be with the younger kids, but if they need something, I'm okay being there for them, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where that is, and I feel grateful that they feel like they can reach out to me when they need something. Habits I want to nurture this next month: sleep hygiene, healthy, mindful eating, and walks. Those are all things that I think are going to help with my mental health. Areas I want to focus on this next month: schedules, the kids, because my kids are getting older. They're only going to be here for so much longer. I want to appreciate the time that I have with them. Menus, and continuing to work in the yard. And then the last question here is rate my overall satisfaction with the month. And I gave it a 7 because it could have been better, but it could have been worse too. So the next thing I did here is kind of a mind map of the things that are important to me going into this next month. And all of my goals that I'm planning on having kind of interconnect. And I think that's going to help them be better goals for me. So I want, as myself, to feel better and feel better in my environment. So I kind of, I used all the different colors. Each one of these kind of goes with a different area that MakseLife has as a focus. So for personal, I have self-care here in the yellow because that's kind of the center of everything. Everything that I'm doing for the most part is kind of coming back to this. So for health and wellness, my biggest thing is energy. I just want to, the biggest issue I had this month was I was too tired to do things. So I need to sleep more, walk, and make sure my diet is helping me in that direction. For fun and recreation, I'm going to continue with time with family because I want to make sure I'm appreciating. I have everybody home for the summer. It gives us more of a chance to do certain things. So I want to do things with them before they're gone and appreciate them. For work and learning, I put schedule because having a schedule is going to make me feel more organized and be able to get more things done. And it's also going to help me, I think, with my mental health. So I have scheduled to get things out to feel like I'm doing something. So that's referring to YouTube because it's hard as a stay-at-home mom to say, oh, I did this and I can check it off. So having something that's tangible and say, oh, I did this is so nice and helps with your self-confidence. So that's where my goal is there. As far as finance, I just want to track everything. We're going to budget it. I'm going to make a spread to do that. And that'll reduce my stress because I'll know where things are. For the physical environment, I have yard. I don't want to be ashamed when people pull up to my house because it has overgrown weeds and a hole in the front yard where my husband is burying cable and all these other things. So I just want there to be some cohesiveness and some of those things get done. For, is it relationships? Family and relationships. I have my focus being my kids because they are home, and that kind of interconnects with some of the other things that I'm feeling like we need to bond together as a family, and I need to appreciate them while I have them. My oldest is turning 20 this year. He is still at home doing community college, but I know that's not going to last forever. And my second oldest is going to be a senior this year. So making sure that I make time to focus on their needs for this summer feels important to me. And then our last one up here, which is spiritual and personal growth, I have journaling because I want to have a space where I can just kind of talk about the day, record what happened that day, record how I'm feeling. I can't seem to do it in my Hobonichi cousin because sometimes I have more than a page worth of stuff to say, and sometimes I have less. But when I have more, then where do you put it? So I like having the aspect of a journal where I'm not limited to an amount of space and I can have it as long or as short as I want. I just bought a a new journal. If that video is up already, I will go ahead and link it up above for you guys. I'm not sure when I'm going to put both of these out. Okay, so that all being said, let's set our goals for July. And I know that was a lot of back end, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, so I've got my markers here. We've got the stencil and we've got a plan. So for my focus for personal, I'm putting self-care. And under that, we're going to make a couple of boxes for check marks. Let's see, I think I'm going to do 3, maybe 4. Okay, so daily alone time. I think that's super important for me because I needed to kind of, I don't know. Oh, I was going to highlight these. Shoot. I don't think I can highlight it once I wrote on it. Can I? No, I can. But we're going to kind of give them dashes through here. That was my idea. So I need daily alone. I guess I need the word time. We need relaxation time. That is going to work into slash baths. Those will help me unwind for the day and better be able to sleep, which I think is going to be important for my wellness goals. And we need daily check-ins. And I'm going to do mood track. Because I feel like that is kind of important to go with that. And I think that I can do all of those. Okay, for fun and recreation, I am still going to focus on family time. And we'll line this up. And we'll do a couple of boxes here. Is 3 enough? 3 might be enough. The bad thing is, like, I've done the little bit of the pre-planning stuff, but I haven't actually planned out what the specific goals are going to be. So for family time, I know that I want to do a lake day or swimming day. So just figuring out how to plan that out will be important. A weekly game, probably on Saturday. And this doesn't really go with family time, but I want to continue books / reading for me. All right, that last one was books and reading for me because that seems to help me just enjoy my walks a little bit more. Okay, work and learning. My focus is going to be on a schedule. I think I used the wrong one for fun and recreation. Dope. So for work and learning, for the schedule, plan out each week. So each week my schedule doesn't need to be the same. And I think I need to be conscious of how much time I'm spending on YouTube stuff so I can better calculate how much time I need to do things. So track YouTube time so that I know how much time I'm putting into each video. All right, for family and recreation, I'm going to do a box for each one of my family members. So we're going to need 6. 5. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so I'm going to put each one of my kids' names as well as my husband here. So I'll do Jared at the top. That's my husband. Ethan, Daniel, and Megan, and Emily. So for Jared, I need to organize a date night. I'm going to come back to Ethan. He's a little bit harder. He's my oldest. Like I said, he's 19. For Dan, we need to do senior pictures. I'll take those for him. That won't be a big deal, but we need to plan out outfits and figure out where he wants to go and all of that. We're going to try and do it now rather than in the fall when he has band, like marching band stuff and that kind of thing. As far as Megan goes, we're going to be working on journaling. So that is a thing. For Emily, we're going to be working on breaking down task on her own because that's a big challenge right now. And I think for Ethan, gosh, I don't know what I should, like a lot of the things that I think he needs encouragement or stuff on, I don't know if it's really something that I can do for him. I'm just going to put support. So be that walking, programming, or social. Because I need to talk with him and figure out what he needs most right now. Oh, I forgot to put the focus as family here. All right, for health and wellness, I'm going to put my focus on energy and give myself a couple of boxes here. Let's see. I'm going to give myself 4, but we're going to try and make them small so that they're achievable. So for the first one, I'm actually going to put my walks. So I just want to maintain that goal. It should be fairly easy to maintain. For the other ones, we need sleep. I want to put sleep more, but we're going to put sleep hygiene, which includes like having a bedtime, using my CPAP, making sure that I have a schedule and I'm getting enough sleep, things like that. I am going to put water on here again because water actually affects your energy a lot, and menu planning, which I need to put more thought into. Okay, for spiritual and personal growth, I'm going to put journal. And we're going to have just a couple of little things here. I do really love this color. I think it's probably my favorite color of all the markers. So for this one, I am going to put in a dedicated time to journal. I want to focus on gratitude and record one thing that made me laugh. Because sometimes those things happen and you're just not paying attention, so you don't notice them. So there's that. So I'm going to put budget track for my financial goal. In order to do that, oops. Okay, we're going to have 2 here, but this one is going to have some sub things, so hold on. So the first part of that is going to be making a budget spread. And then weekly tracking. And I think with the weekly tracking, maybe I mark off down here like how many weeks there are. So how many weeks are there in July? Let me look. Because I know how many days are in July. 2, 3, 4. We're going to say 5. So I think I'll put it here. Or here. Where do I want to put it? Let's put it there. So I'm going to give 5 boxes for each week. 1 for each week. So I can mark off if I checked in that week. For physical environment, we're going to say yard again, but we're going to give it some specific things in the yard to do to make sure we get them done. So trying to think of how many of them there are. There's probably, let's do 5 because there's 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. And I want the lighter gray. Okay. So front yard weeding. So there's an area that we haven't weeded and we need to reweed some of where we already did because you don't just weed once, unfortunately. We also need to clean up deck. Have bonfire cleanup is what I'll call it. Possibly the play structure. We have this really old play structure that needs to come down. Um, back weeding. And for the last one, under deck, which is a big problem, like a big project. So those are my hopefuls for the yard this month. All right, that's everything. I know this has been a really long video, but I hope it was helpful for you. I will be checking in each week and doing my weekly goals and kind of updating you on my progress each, hopefully Friday, and we'll just kind of take it from there. So until next time, I'll see you real soon.